The president's latest bogus job creation claims. Citing a quote often attributed to the British Prime Minister Benjamin Disraeli, Mark Twain famously said there are three kinds of lies: lies, damned lies, and statistics. President Joe Biden, in his State of the Union address this week, somehow managed to combine all three in claiming credit for job creation on his watch. Here's what Biden said: 2 years ago, our economy was reeling. As I stand here tonight, we have created a record 12 million new jobs, more jobs created in 2 years than any president has ever created in 4 years. Somewhere between a lie and a damned lie is the president's suggestion that he personally created 12 million new jobs. Naturally, Biden is not the only politician to make such self-congratulatory claims, but his statement is especially farcical coming on the heels of massive job losses from the pandemic. As the chart below displays, the lion's share of the new jobs the president supposedly created simply reflect the continued return of jobs lost at the onset of the pandemic. U.S. non-farm payroll employment, seasonally adjusted, 2020 to 2023. The U.S. economy experienced a record drop in payroll employment when COVID-19 struck, with 22 million jobs lost between February 2020, 152.4 million, and April 2020, 130.4 million. But payroll employment has shown almost continuous improvement since then. Between the low point in April 2020 and the latest data for January 2023, 155.1 million, payroll employment has bounced back by 24.6 million, more than filling the deep hole created by the pandemic shutdowns. But hold on, the president claims to have created 12 million new jobs. What about the other 12+ million jobs included in that 24.6 million job recovery? As the chart shows, they returned in the 9 months before Biden took office, when 12.5 million jobs were created, using Biden's term, at over twice the monthly pace for which the president is now taking credit. So much for his claim that the economy, as reflected by job creation at least, was reeling when he took office. Still, statistics confirm that the U.S. has never before witnessed payroll employment rise by 12 million during the first 2 years of any prior administration. Of course, no prior administration took office as the U.S. labor market was rapidly recovering from an unprecedented pandemic lockdown either. Just like when he said in last year's State of the Union address that our economy created over 6.5 million new jobs just last year, more jobs in 1 year than ever before in the history of the United States of America, the president this week saw no need to provide that important context. Especially given that dig a hole and take credit for filling it back into dynamic, it's worth considering how recent job levels compare with expert projections made before the pandemic. We can turn to the Nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office, CBO, for that. In their January 2020 report, The Budget and Economic Outlook, 2020 to 2030, issued immediately before the pandemic struck, CBO projected 135,000 jobs per month would be created during 2020, followed by an average of 59,000 per month in 2021 and 17,000 per month in 2022. Added up and prior to the pandemic, CBO projections suggested that payroll employment would average 154.156 million by the end of 2022. The figures below show how that compares with actual payroll employment, that is, counting the effects of the pandemic and the subsequent job recovery. Source: author's calculations, using Bureau of Labor Statistics data and CBO's January 2020 report, which notes that CBO's monthly job creation figures reflect the average monthly change in the number of employees on non-farm payrolls, calculated by dividing the change from the fourth quarter of one calendar year to the fourth quarter of the next by 12. It turns out that actual payroll employment at the end of 2022 was just 130,000 higher than what CBO projected it would be before the pandemic. That's certainly impressive given all that has occurred in the past 3 years, but it's still a very far cry from Biden's boast that he'd created a record 12 million new jobs.
High quality bullshit.
Business optimism. In August, The National Federation of Independent Business said its Small Business Optimism Index reached 105.3, the highest since 2006 and an 11% jump since the week before Trump was elected. The Wells Fargo/Gallup Small Business Index said small business owners are the most optimistic since July 2007. The Bloomberg Consumer Comfort Measure reached a 16-year high, with current views of the economy also reaching a 16-year high. The Conference Board's Consumer Confidence Index rose in July to near a 16-year high, with consumers' short-term outlook improving.